There's a lot of business owners who are not aware that their personal beliefs are holding their business back. You looked at that belief from when you were 10 years old. What do you believe about salespeople? And you change that to a positive belief. You would make more sales in your business.
Hello and welcome to the Self-Study Show with me, Jer Norris, and my co-host, Austen. And today we're going to talk about a really important topic called awareness. And at the start of anybody's journey in their life of self-discovery, awareness is the number one thing. It's the starting point. It's where it all begins. Self-awareness is about noticing yourself, noticing what you do in various situations, why you do it, knowing your emotions, your triggers, your goals, what makes you happy and not so happy. Self-awareness is about looking inside, because all our outside environment can drag you left and pull you right. Awareness is about looking inside, looking at yourself, looking at what makes you tick, looking at why do I have certain emotions, why do I have certain triggers, why does this thing make me, react, and why do I love this thing? So to know where you're going in your life and in your own self-discovery journey or your own journey, you have to know you. And to understand you, you have to be aware. Because once you start to become aware, then you start to notice your traits, good traits, bad traits. You start to notice your good habits and your bad habits. You start to know what you really love and what you really don't like. You start to notice the people you don't want to be with and the people you do want to be with. So self-awareness, and I keep putting self in front of the awareness, because it's all about you. And the one thing I want you to take away from today is it's an inside job. And what I mean by that, you have to look into you. Because if you don't know yourself, and if you're not aware, then how can you get anywhere in life if you don't know what makes you tick? You need to find out who the hell you are. Didn't actually mean to say that, but that is actually the name of Anne's book, as you can see on the screen. Who the hell are you? But that starts with awareness. You have to find out who you are. You have to look at yourself in depth. You have to be the judge and the jury of yourself. Because you can't better yourself and make good progress in your own life if you don't understand yourself, if you don't understand what, as I said before, what makes you tick, what makes you, what annoys you, what doesn't annoy you. So it's once you start to understand yourself, then you can start to correct your bad habits and install some really good habits. And then you can start to move forward to, different stages of your journey. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Ant. I think I've just covered my bit on awareness.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, some great points there. I think so many of us are so keen to get out from where we are that we don't want to acknowledge where we are, but you've got to acknowledge that reality. Because then once you understand how you've got to your current reality, then you have the same formula to get to where you want to go. But where you want to go is not clear necessarily, because you may think you want something, but really you don't. You might be influenced in some way, some advert might have been thrown down your throat so many times that you start believing that you want that thing, and when you get it, you realize you don't really want to. It's a common story. So awareness is everything. It really is. It's the starting point of everything. So for instance, if you want to restructure your belief system, well, first you've got to become aware that you actually have beliefs. And that in itself is a learning process because we're not taught this stuff at school. So just becoming aware that you have beliefs, both beliefs that limit you and beliefs that push you forwards, that's just awareness there. So then you've got to become aware of, well, what are my beliefs? And then what are my beliefs around money? What are my beliefs around relationships, around business? And then you've got to understand how they were formed. So then you can rewrite those beliefs so you can get confident and reach your goals fast. So awareness is everything. Uh, I think we're constantly becoming more and more aware. The people who are actively trying to expand their awareness seem to be the ones who make the faster leaps towards where they want to get to. And I don't think there's no accident in doing that. We can go into here where there's people who are like unconscious competent. So they're very competent at doing something in a chosen field, but they're not very conscious of how they're doing that. Now, these people, there's nothing special about them whatsoever. They're just doing things in accordance with the laws of the universe and how things are done. Just, you could say naturally, they're just doing it. Call it naturally, they're doing it. So whether they know how it works doesn't really matter. They're doing it and they're getting results. For most of us, we're not working in accordance with the universe. So we have to become conscious competence. So we can get competent at something, but we need to be conscious of what that is and learning about like the universal laws, becoming aware of them, becoming aware of our own conditioning. Now, conditioning is such a massive, broad word in itself because our conditioning is made up of our beliefs, our habits, our identity, our self-image. There's so much to our conditioning, which all stems from our past experiences, where we've attached emotion to thoughts and circumstances, and now they're a part of us. And for most of us, if you're not aware, you would just think, well, that's just who I am. Now, that's not necessarily the case because if you had other past experiences, you would be a different person right now, which means you can create yourself to be anything that you want. So that's how I'm seeing awareness. It is absolutely everything. It's the starting point of moving forward. But you have to be very brave to do this type of work and get aware, in my opinion, because you'll start becoming aware of things that will annoy you. And you might just see things like, why have I been doing it this way for so long? That's so stupid. It's so foolish of me. So it's necessary if you want to progress, but it's not going to be all like sunshines and rainbows. No way. No way. It can be painful. It can be emotionally painful. It can be lots of emotions can stir up because you become aware of how you were conditioned and you'll see things that are not fair. You'll see things you will look at maybe some of your friends' upbringing and compare things, and it all makes a lot of sense. Back to you, Joe. What do you can you expand on that?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Your last couple of points are awesome because I was thinking halfway through what you're saying about awareness, I was thinking if you were a boss, yeah, and you run a good company, but you seem to be always kind of struggling. Say like the cash flow is not great, and you're struggling with it, and you think like, why? Like, why is this so hard? Yeah. If if you went away and looked at yourself deeply, and as Anne said, it's really difficult sometimes to self analyze ourselves. But if you look deeply, and Anne touched about beliefs, if you look deeply into your belief system, well, why are you struggling? Why is the business struggling with money? Maybe just say you grew up in a poor environment as a child, and then you brought those limiting beliefs of the fear of poverty, you brought the fear of money into your business. You wanted to do better because you're afraid of being poor, you didn't want to live that way anymore, so you said, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to make myself financially successful so I can sort my kids out because I didn't have that as a child. And you bring this into your business, and then you're stuck. And why then you're stuck, and then you get really stressed and really anxious, and there is an underlying program running in the background. And if you don't have awareness, which is really really looking at yourself, go, why is this problem occurring, then you won't be able to solve it. Now, having someone like in the outside work with you, like a life coach, they can unpick this for you, because sometimes you're so caught in the whirlwind that you cannot see it for yourself. So that's why sometimes having someone from the outside is really, really beneficial. But let's say you started to read some books and you started to understand yourself a little bit more, and you started to, you read Anne's book, Who the Hell Are You? And you started to do a diagnostics of yourself. Then you realize that is awareness then. You start to become aware of your past. Right, my past is now controlling my present moment. Right, okay, I figured this out. How do I change it now? Okay, then you start looking at yourself, go, well, what can I do differently going forward to change my belief system and my habits? And that's why awareness is really, really important. And then it's, as Anne said, it is tough to look at yourself, because you could look at your childhood and go, wow, that was tough for me. And then you look at your friends, and they had a really wealthy upbringing, and you might get a little bit of envy and a little bit of jealous, but your life is done. It's meant to be that way. So that's it's meant to be that way, so you could become the person you were meant to be. But you have to, yeah, it is as I said, it is scary to look at yourself, and it is scary to look at your past. It is challenging. But once you overcome those challenges, then you can start creating a life based on your own thinking. Like, how do I want to run my business now? Or how do I want to run my life? Or how do I want to parent my children? Because if even it's everywhere. How do you want to look after your kids? You have to be self-aware. How do I react to certain situations when my kids throw tantrums and won't eat their food? This is what awareness is. It's a broad, it's across every single industry, every part of our life. But unfortunately, a lot of people in this world are unaware, and they just carry on through their life, living a fine life, but they are constantly reacting to life, constantly putting out fires here, there, and everywhere, and that creates stress, anxiety, worry, self-doubt, fear, because you're not in control. You're just reacting. You're not responding, because you're not in control of your own emotions, because you're not aware that you're reacting. I'm going to pass it over to you, Ant.
Yeah,
Right.
it's great points again, great points. And when you're talking about like the world, how we're all distracted nowadays in this modern world, and me and Joe will often read books from years and years and years ago because they had less distractions then. And we live in this fast-paced world now, just that is set up to, stimulate fear and desire in a way that makes us make purchase decisions. and we got an instant world, and then we're busy as well. So no one, more people are less aware because they're spending less time with themselves because it's just distraction after distraction. And then, like, yeah, an advert will pop up, stimulate fear, desire. Oh, I need to buy that, buy that. Oh, I don't really have enough money, so I got to work hard on my job to pay for it. So, we're constantly distracted. We're not spending enough time with ourselves. And getting back to the looking at your past is hard work to do. If you notice, a lot of people won't want to do that. They'll say, "Well, no, my past was my past, and that was there." And they might say things like, "Well, my past wasn't good, but it made me strong, so I don't need to look at it." And it's like, I see what they're saying there, but if they look at their past, they're not going to lose any of their strength. They're going to just gain even more strength. So even though they had a negative experience in the past, which was they see as a positive because it made them stronger, which it is, it's still a positive to go back and look because you'll become even stronger if you can release more emotion that's still pent up in your body and in your belief system. Because our beliefs are in the driver's seat, really, because they're just thoughts that are laced with emotion. And we might get an idea to do something. If our beliefs don't agree with that idea, they will send fear through our body and we won't take action on those ideas that we want to do. Like Jer says, you take this into your business because when you started your business, you'd be like, you started it because you believe you have the ability to do well in it, and you do. But when you get in it and you take your money beliefs in there, and you got the fear of poverty, and you're struggling for money, it could be struggling with people, whatever it may be, then you might form the belief, well, I'm not cut out for business. I can't do it. Perhaps I don't have the ability, but you do. It's just the beliefs are getting in the way. Move them out of the way. And that is a skill in itself. But of course, you've got to first become aware of this. There's a lot of this isn't specifically for business owners, but so yeah, back to you, Joe.
That line's massive, absolutely massive. And yeah, this isn't just about business, but it's that's a huge line. Like most business owners don't realize their personal beliefs are holding their business back because your whole business runs from you. That
Hmm.
you control everything in your business. So as Anne said, if you can't handle dealing with clients, if you can't handle the, let's say, the destructive clients, the ones that always moan and the ones that always like, always a penny pinching and all that, if you can't handle those stressful moments, because that's triggering like pain from your past, then you're always going to go into that destructive mode. You're going to react to those people. And that's going to bring your business down. So the if you change, your beliefs and how you operate, then you will change everything in your business. And I said, it's bringing it back to awareness again, because you have to become aware that you're being triggered by certain situations in your life and in your business. But once you go through it, it's quite liberating, really, once you start becoming aware. Because me and Ant do it all the time. We just keep finding out about ourselves all the time, and then we message each other and go, oh wow, like this has happened to me today, and you know what, I looked at it this way, and yeah, I just can't believe I've been doing that habit, or I've been doing that habit really well, or whatever it is. It's constantly self-analyzation of ourselves, and it's fantastic, like, because we're constantly growing. And if you started looking at yourself with awareness, you will grow all the time. Because once you become aware, that's it. There's no going back. You're always on the look
Hmm.
at yourself. You're always investigating yourself. You're your own detective. And you're always looking at stuff. How can I improve myself? And why did I do that? And I had a big argument with my wife, and well, why did I say that? I didn't need to say that thing. You're constantly bettering yourself, because you have to do self-analyzation of yourself to better yourself. It's like being a footballer. Like, if you had a really bad game of football, like your coaches aren't going to say anything to you. You know, you're not going to look at yourself and look back at that game and go, you're going to analyze what went wrong. And then you're going to go, oh, yeah, right, I can improve my game this way. It's the same in life. There's no difference. Being an actor, footballer, dancer, it's all the same thing. They look at themselves, they improve themselves, and then they get back out and do it again. So they have to be aware of their faults, say like their little failures, to get better. So I'm going to wrap it up, Ant. And I'm going to leave. I started it, so you can finish it.
Yeah, so I'll just finish it. Again, going back to the business side of things on that line, personal beliefs are holding businesses back. You could have been 10 years old and your mum or your dad said something negative about a car salesman or someone who knocked on the door trying to sell something, or, salesmen are just there to rip you off in the shop or whatever. You could then be a 36-year-old person who's struggling to make sales in your business. And you might think, I need to learn more sales tactics. But actually, if you looked at that belief from when you were 10 years old, what do you believe about salespeople? And you change that to a positive belief, you would make more sales in your business instantly with no more sales training or anything like that. So that's what I'm getting at when personal beliefs are holding businesses back, because a lot of people wouldn't think that at all. They would just think, I need to learn more business skills. Maybe there's a little bit of that going on, but personally, from my own experience, my own businesses, I've had more gains through moving personal beliefs out of the way, and my business has profited as a result. So that's the end of this episode. Awareness, you have to become aware. It's the starting point of all change, 100%. Because if you're not aware of, you've got to be aware of who you are, getting back to like self-awareness, because we can only control us. Like we are the only problem, therefore we are the only solution. So we got to be aware of how we work first and how we're programmed and how we can reprogram ourselves to get the things that we want, or just to live in a flow state that is peaceful, happy, whatever it is that you decide. And then, of course, you've got to define success. So you've got to become aware of what that is. But it all starts with you. That's the end of the episode, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Take care. Bye.